Have you ever felt that shiver down your spine, that kind of pull towards the unknown, maybe in an old building or just a quiet corner of town? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Granite State, New Hampshire. It's, celebrated for its stunning natural beauty, but beneath that surface, well, it harbors a truly chilling secret. It's an absolute hotbed for paranormal activity, for eerie legends, stretches right from the coast up to the White Mountains.
It really is. I mean, New Hampshire's history goes way back, like to the 1600s, even before it was properly colonial.
Yeah.
So with roots that deep and so many untold stories, it's almost, well, inevitable that tales of lingering spirits, weird occurrences, unexplained stuff, it's all woven into the landscape.
For this deep dive, we've looked at a really diverse stack of sources, everything from, local travel blogs, historical society accounts, right up to actual paranormal investigation reports.
Okay.
So we can try and get a thorough, kind of multifaceted look at these stories, give you a really comprehensive view of New Hampshire's haunted side. Right. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today, it isn't just to, list creepy places. We want to go beyond that, really trying to unravel the stories, the why behind them, and the impact these legends still have on New Hampshire. What makes these particular spots so compelling for locals, for visitors, and what can they actually tell us about, well, the state's history and maybe even belief itself? Get ready, because you're about to see New Hampshire in a whole new, much spookier light. Now, it seems some spirits, they just love a good staycation, right? And New Hampshire's historic inns and hotels, they offer plenty of opportunities for guests who maybe linger, both living and, well, otherwise. Can you imagine spending a night in some of these places? Let's start with probably the most famous one, the Omniment Washington Resort in Bretton Woods. This huge grand hotel built in 1902. It's not just luxury, it's consistently named one of the most haunted historic hotels in the whole country. So what makes this place such a spectral hotspot?
Well, the stories at the Omnimount Washington, they really center around Carolyn Stickney. She was the wife of the original owner, and people affectionately called her the princess. What's fascinating is just how consistent the reports are. Often focus on her old suite, room 314, guests, staff. They talk about flickering lights, bathtubs filling up on their own, and actual sightings of Carolyn in a Victorian dress. Sometimes they see her brushing her hair at the foot of her bed. Her original four-poster bed, it's actually still in the room.
Still there.
Yep. And visitors claim they smell her floral perfume, like her signature scent, even now.
So a very personal haunting then. But I've also heard there might be something else, a deeper layer, maybe older, beyond just Carolyn.
That's right. If you look at the bigger picture, there's also this darker, more ancient legend connected to the land itself. The hotel is apparently built on land that was once sacred to indigenous peoples. Could be Abenaki, maybe Pennacook. And some believe it carries this ancient energy, maybe even a curse, stemming from historical injustices. There are even sightings of another figure, believed to be Princess Sako, sometimes in a wedding dress. So some people interpret that as like a manifestation of this deeper historical memory, the land's energy. It's this complex mix of personal history and these really ancient echoes, which is probably why it's been featured on Ghost Hunters a few times. Adds a bit of weight to the claims,
Definitely. Okay, so from grand resorts to charming inns, next up is the Tilton Inn in Tilton. An 18th century inn, historic, but with a really chilling past. Get this, it burned down 3 times. What kind of spirits might linger in a place with that kind of fiery history?
Well, the main story there is that the inn is haunted by Laura. She was a 12-year-old girl who tragically died in one of those fires. Guests have reported seeing her apparition, hearing footsteps, experiencing electrical glitches, lights flickering, that sort of thing. But she's often described as a friendly spirit, childlike. People say she greets guests at reception.
Really?
Yeah, and even playfully knocks over glasses in the restaurant sometimes.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, how some spirits, like Laura, seem to have this benign, almost playful energy. Does that make it more comforting for people? Or maybe even more unsettling? Because it kind of blurs that line between the everyday and the supernatural.
That's a really interesting thought. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's that unexpected normalcy.
Yeah.
That's what's really chilling. Makes you wonder what else is just beneath the surface, right, in our own lives. And speaking of tragic pasts, the Notchlin Inn in Hart's location looks cozy, but there's a tragic love story kind of woven into its history.
Indeed. The legend there is about Nancy Barton. She apparently froze to death back in 1778. She was pursuing her fiancé who'd stolen her dowry. Just awful. Her name is everywhere now, Nancy Brook, Nancy Pond, Nancy Mountain. A real testament to her story. Guests claim they hear things, shrieks, sometimes cries, but also laughter out the woods around the inn. And inside, Reports of names appearing on mirrors written in steam, or even happy anniversary written in lipstick, with flowers mysteriously appearing and then vanishing.
Lipstick.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a haunting that feels infused with both, you know, sorrow, but also this strange, lingering romance.
It's incredible how these personal tragedies become so enduring, just weaving themselves into the fabric of a place. And this connection to former residents, it keeps popping up, even in places with really innocent names. What about the Christmas Farm Inn and Spa in Jackson?
Ugh, a Christmas farm inn. Yeah, sounds lovely, doesn't it? Dates back to the 1770s. But despite the name, it's known for its own haunted happenings. The ghost here is supposedly a former innkeeper, Doris Welch. She passed away right there in the inn. There's a famous story about a sheik who worked there, claimed her ghost passed right through him.
Whoa.
Yeah. And there are other reports, too. An unusual presence felt in room 12, the sound of children laughing in the carriage house. What's striking here, much like Laura at the Tilton Inn, is that ghost hunters also investigated this place. And they apparently confirmed a high level of friendly activity.
Friendly activity. How do they, confirm that?
Well, usually it's through things like EMF readings, electromagnetic fields, or unexplained cold spots, temperature drops, sometimes EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, voices caught in recordings. But the general feeling here is that Doris is just, looking after her beloved inn, still on the job.
So we have these protective spirits, almost like caretakers. That makes me think of the Nutmeg Inn in Meredith. It's an old homestead, 1763. And it has this deeper history, too. It was a stop on the Underground Railroad. This place is haunted by a spirit named Charlie, described as helpful, but sometimes mischievous.
That's Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, guests and staff talk about cold spots, seeing his apparitions show up in photos sometimes, and things getting hidden or bath mats being moved, little pranks. The legend even says Charlie has helped out with, carpentry and electrical work when the owners couldn't afford it.
Seriously, helping with repairs.
That's the story. It's this powerful idea, isn't it, that a spirit could be so tied to a place, maybe out of duty or just affection, that they keep contributing. And the Underground Railroad connection, that just adds another layer of historical depth. Makes you wonder about all the untold stories echoing there.
Definitely. Okay, in Durham, there's the Three Chimneys Inn. Oldest building in town, apparently. Built way back in 1649. What makes this really old place so compelling for ghost hunters?
This inn is said to be haunted by Hannah. She's the daughter of the original owner. The story goes she tragically drowned in the Oyster River nearby. She's also considered a pretty friendly ghost, known for playful stuff, like floating glasses that suddenly drop, or stroking female visitors' hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and apparently messing with electronics, like printers and lights. It seems New Hampshire has a real thing for these more benign spirits.
It seems so. All right, finally, for our haunted hospitality tour, the Hotel Portsmouth. It used to be the Size Inn, built in the 1800s. I've heard room 204 there is. Kind of a hot spot.
It certainly is. Reports include a spirit locking and unlocking the door from the inside. Bizarre stuff with the ice machine, like finding piles of ice in the hall or ice actually being thrown. Yeah. And guests feeling a distinct presence, sometimes in the bed with them or just strongly felt in the room. It's one thing to hear footsteps, but a ghost getting into bed with you? That might be where a lot of folks draw the line on their spooky vacation.
Yeah.
This haunting definitely shows a more direct kind of physical interaction that can be really unsettling for people.
No kidding. Okay, let's shift focus now. Moving away from places you might actually stay overnight. Let's talk about locations where maybe residual energy or tragic events have left a really deep mark, often in places not meant for overnight stays anymore. These are the eerie estates, the abandoned places where history really lingers long after the living have moved on.
Exactly. We've seen how personal tragedies can imprint on inns and hotels. Now, consider the ocean-born Mary House in Henniker. The legend itself is captivating. Starts in 1720, a baby born at sea during a pirate attack, named Mary after the pirate captain's mother to spare the ship.
What's really interesting is that Mary herself never actually lived in this specific house in Henniker, her son did. But her ghost is the one said to haunt it. Huh. So it's connected to her, even though she didn't live there?
Seems so. The legend also claims she found her husband murdered and buried him under the kitchen hearthstone right there in the house. Visitors report unexplained noises, cold spots, and apparitions, often described as a tall, red-haired woman with glowing green eyes. Seen in an upstairs window or on the main staircase, she's often perceived as protective of the home. It shows that attachment can go beyond just where you lived, maybe connecting to family, to big events,
That's a powerful story. And speaking of unsettling presences, what about places that are basically just ruins now, like Kimball Castle in Guilford?
Right, Kimball Castle. It's the ruins, really, of this majestic 1890s estate. Belonged to a railroad magnate, Benjamin Ames Kimball. It's condemned now, but
Yeah.
visually incredibly haunting, just standing there. Reports there include full-body apparitions, cold spots, strange eerie lights, and the sound of horses in the stables when there are definitely no horses there.
Phantom horses.
Yeah. And other unexplained stuff. Loud noises, lights turning on and off by themselves, old antique clocks suddenly starting up again. The presence there is often described as unwelcoming. A real contrast to some of those friendly hotel ghosts we talked about, like a warning to visitors exploring the ruins.
Okay, unwelcoming. Noted. From the grand to the tragic. Let's talk about the Chase House in Portsmouth. It's colonial building 1723, and it served as a home for orphan children. The stories here sound particularly heartbreaking.
There really are. The house is said to be tragically haunted by the spirit of a young girl who took her own life there. Either by hanging or jumping from a window, the stories vary slightly. Residents report seeing her ghostly figure in the hallways, hearing screams coming from her former room, and poltergeist activity, objects moving seemingly on their own, doors unlocking, electricity turning on and off. A former worker there even claimed to see a small figure, just briefly, in a white nightgown. These kinds of hauntings, especially linked to children in such tragic circumstances, often carry this profound sense of sadness, like something's unresolved.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, another place with a lot of spirits seems to be the Amos J. Blake House Museum in Fitzwilliam. Built 1837, started as a store with living quarters upstairs. Now it's a museum, and it's said to host, get this, 11 ghosts, plus a phantom cat. That's practically a spectral community.
It really is. It's quite a claim. Visitors and volunteers there report seeing a legless woman in period clothing, hearing horse bells ringing on their own. One visitor apparently captured the spirit of a young boy in a photograph. Staff frequently say they feel like they're not alone. They report strange sounds, voices, even ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm, like in the movies.
Well, yeah, that's the term used. This sort of mysterious, misty substance some paranormal researchers believe is a physical manifestation of spirit energy. This collection of really specific details about the Amos J. Blake House, it paints a picture of intense, diverse paranormal activity. It suggests maybe multiple layers of history, maybe trauma have imprinted on the building.
And what about places where suffering was, unfortunately, kind of institutionalized? The New Hampshire State Hospital in Concord, originally the New Hampshire Asylum for the Insane, it has a truly brutal history, doesn't it?
It does. That asylum has a very dark past, like many mental institutions from that era, marked by patient neglect, abuse, even experimentation. Awful stuff.
Yeah.
And even though it's abandoned now, people say it's far from empty. Witnesses report phantom footsteps echoing in the halls, disembodied screams, cold spots, objects moving, even elevators working by themselves, and a constant feeling of being watched. That's a very common report from anyone who dares to go near the place. It's a chilling reminder, really, that deep human suffering can leave such a powerful, lasting imprint on a physical space.
Definitely gives you pause. Okay, moving on to places where nature's kind of reclaiming history. In Chesterfield, there are Madame Sherry's castle ruins. Once home to the flamboyant Madame Sherry, now it's mostly just this picturesque staircase to nowhere out in the woods. What's the spectral draw there?
It's a real hotbed for ghost stories. Some visitors claim they hear her laughing as they climb those stone steps. Others just report strong feelings of being watched. It's a good example of how a really vibrant, maybe eccentric personality can leave this kind of energetic imprint that sticks around long after the building itself has crumbled. Kind of similar, you have the abandoned Excelsior Mill in Wolfboro Falls. It's this decaying relic of New Hampshire's industrial past. It's crumbling inside, the dark stories about working conditions. They have inspired countless ghost tales, echoes of industry. And while you can't really get in the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard prison, it's a decommissioned fortress of steel and stone. Considered one of New England's most haunted spots. You can feel an eerie energy just looking at it from across the water.
And in Dover, the Cocheco Falls Millworks. Former textile mills from the 1800s, also the site of a tragic fire. They carry echoes, too.
Oh yeah. People report footsteps, the smell of smoke like phantom smoke from that historic fire, faint sounds of looms working, and seeing shadows moving in the repurposed spaces which are now offices and apartments. It shows how historical events, especially traumatic ones like a big fire, can leave these sensory imprints, phantom smells, phantom sounds, things that defy easy explanation.
Okay, so moving on from buildings themselves, we know cemeteries and old roads, they're kind of naturally fertile ground for ghost stories, right? But some really stand out in New Hampshire, not just for their age, but for the truly chilling tales they hold. First up, Pine Hill Cemetery in Hollis, better known to locals, ominously, as Blood Cemetery.
Right, Blood Cemetery. What's fascinating here is how historical fact kind of blends with evolving folklore. It was founded in 1771. It's actually quite beautiful and peaceful during the day, but at night, a completely different, disturbing vibe. The nickname comes from the Blood family buried there. Local lore insists they were murdered, although that's more legend than confirmed history. And the story about Abel Blood's tombstone.
The finger, right?
Exactly, carved with the finger pointing up. The legend says it changes at night, points down. That kind of specific, macabre detail really becomes central to the haunting. Ghost hunters consistently report weird lights, moving shadows, hearing voices, cold spots, and technology going haywire. Cameras failing, car radios acting up, even gas gauges dropping suddenly, suggest a really powerful, disruptive presence. Some accounts even mention the ghost of a small boy, maybe from the Blood family, appearing and stopping cars on the road nearby.
Okay, if that doesn't make your engine stall. In Conway, there's a Stark Road graveyard, small, secluded, but with a big reputation.
This one's believed to be haunted mainly by children's spirits. People report hearing laughter, footsteps, and sightings of a girl in Victorian-era clothing. There are also these really unnerving reports of a pair of big red eyes following visitors through the trees. That adds a touch of something truly uncanny.
Red eyes. Nope. Okay, along the coast, Island Path Road in Hampton Beach. It's a scenic drive, but it has a dark history. Most famously haunted by Eunice Goody Cole, accused of witchcraft way back in 1656.
Yeah, the story of Goody Cole is just tragic. A real reflection of that whole witch trial hysteria. After she died in custody, townspeople supposedly dug up her grave and drove a stake through her heart. Just brutal, fueled by fear and superstition. Her spirit is said to haunt that road now, often appearing as a foggy apparition. People also report strange sounds, objects moving nearby. It's a powerful example of how historical injustice can create this lingering, restless energy. And on top of that, there are other tales too, like two drowned lovers seen walking hand in hand along that same path. Adds another layer of sadness.
Wow. Okay, back in Portsmouth, the Point of Graves burial ground dates way back to the 1670s. Lots of prominent town figures buried there. What makes this historic spot particularly active?
Visitors report strong spirit presences, especially around one particular grave, Elizabeth Pierce's, which is kind of secluded. People claim they hear footsteps following them when they walk near it. One paranormal investigator even reported feeling a distinct push on her back right at Pierce's tombstone. These more subtle, almost interactive hauntings. They highlight that connection people feel to ancestors, the weight of their legacy. Then you've got Vale End Cemetery in Wilton, home to the legend of the Blue Lady. The tombstone of Mary Ritter Spaulding is said to mysteriously glow with this blue light coming from the ground at random times at night. And her apparition is also claimed to wander the cemetery. Adds this visually stunning but still eerie element to the place.
A blue glowing tombstone. Okay. For something a little different, Toll Hill in Epsom. This supposedly hosts New Hampshire's only equine haunting.
That's the claim. The ghost of a horse. Apparently it got trapped in an abandoned building during a blizzard and died there. Yeah. The legend says its ghost is still trying to escape.
Poor horse. And on River Road in Manchester? A ghost jogger? That's oddly specific.
Very specific. Reportedly seen along the road at exactly 1:45 a.m. only on Halloween night. These stories, whether it's phantom animals or ghosts on a strict schedule, they really showcase the incredible diversity of how the unexplained manifests, often connecting directly to local tragedies or memorable events.
Absolutely. Now let's broaden out even more. Let's talk about some enduring mysteries, cryptid sightings, showcasing the truly diverse ways the unexplained pops up across New Hampshire. These aren't just ghosts. These are anomalies that kind of challenge our understanding of history, the natural world, taking us beyond typical hauntings.
Indeed. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. In Salem, you've got America's Stonehenge. It's this perplexing sight. Stone chambers, standing walls, carved rocks, even astronomical alignments. Theories about who built it are all over the place. Native American cultures, early European explorers, Phoenicians, Celts, Norse, or were they just colonial-era root sellers? Nobody knows for sure. Visitors report feeling unusual energy there, hearing whispers in the woods, just general feelings of unease. It's a site that actively resists a simple explanation, forces us to confront the limits of our historical knowledge.
Fascinating. Then there's the truly bizarre stone-throwing Devil of Great Island in Newcastle. Back in 1682, George Walton's home came under attack by unseen forces.
It was a classic poltergeist case, by all accounts. Stones, bricks, other objects apparently flew at the house, even through walls and windows, with no visible culprit. Objects inside moved on their own. Servants heard whispers. Theories back then ranged from pranks to witchcraft, or what we now maybe call intense poltergeist activity, an unseen force manipulating physical objects, maybe linked to someone's subconscious energy. It's a centuries-old mystery, still unsolved, really highlights how deep the roots of paranormal phenomena run in New Hampshire.
Wow. And what about the Mystery Stone of Lake Winnipesaukee? That sounds like something straight out of like an Indiana Jones movie.
It really does. It's this captivating enigma. An egg-shaped stone, only about 4 inches long. Unearthed in 1872, it's covered in these strange carvings, a human face, a teepee, weird geometric patterns, and it has these precisely drilled holes through it. Its origin, totally unknown. Skark's theories, Native American artifact, relic from some older, unknown civilization, or maybe just an elaborate 19th century hoax. The craftsmanship, especially those drill holes, is really puzzling for the known technology of the time. It's truly baffling. Still on display at the NH Historical Society, a captivating puzzle.
Okay, that's weird. Then there's the Curse of Chief Chuckarua. It hangs heavy over Mount Chuckarua, named after a Native American chief. This is a story of betrayal, right? And a powerful, lingering legend.
Yeah, the legend says Chief Chuckarua was betrayed by a settler, a guy named Campbell. Chuckarua's son died, possibly poisoned by Campbell. Chuckarua retaliated, killing Campbell's family. Then he was pursued up onto the mountain peak. Before leaping to his death, he supposedly shouted this curse down on the settlers, a curse of sickness and hardship. Even today, hikers on Mount Chuckarua report hearing voices in the wind, seeing a shadowy figure experiencing unexplained accidents. It fuels the belief in the curse. This story really shows how tragic historical events, especially involving injustice, can evolve into these powerful regional legends that literally impact how people perceive the land itself.
Chilling. And if that wasn't enough, we have cryptids. Deep in the northernmost woods, Coast County, stories of the wood devils. Tell us about these things.
These creatures. They've been reported by lumberjacks and hikers since the 19th century. Described as tall, thin, with a gray or light brown fur, nearly 7 feet tall. They supposedly move with unnatural speed, blend right into the forest, actively avoid humans, and leave no tracks. None reported. Stories also include this strange, sudden silence falling over the woods when they're near, or just catching glimpses of them in your peripheral vision. It's a classic cryptid tale, really. Suggests that maybe our vast wild forests still hold secrets we haven't figured out yet.
But maybe the most jarring, the devil monkeys of Banville. This was much more recent, right? 2001. A small town in southern New Hampshire was gripped by this sudden flurry of sightings. This sounds like something out of a horror movie.
It really does. Yeah. Multiple townspeople reported seeing these bizarre creatures. Thin, long-limbed, sharp teeth, glowing eyes, darting through the woods. Some said they leaped like monkeys. Others said they ran on 2 legs. Eyewitness accounts came from teenagers, a family walking their dog. People claimed to hear clawing noises on their houses, caused quite a panic. Then, just as suddenly as they appeared, the sightings stopped. Poof, gone. No physical evidence was ever found. It's a fascinating and pretty unnerving example of a mass sighting event. Defies conventional explanation. Reminds us that even now, the unexplained can just surface, terrifyingly.
Okay, wow, devil monkeys. That's a lot. Now, for those of you listening who appreciate a good scare, but maybe prefer your haunts curated, guaranteed. New Hampshire also offers some fantastic commercial haunted attractions. You can get all the thrills without, the potential for a lifelong ghostly roommate. So what are some of the best places for a more structured scare?
Right. If you prefer your chills on demand, Nightmare New England and Litchfield is a big one. They offer professional scare experiences, multiple haunted houses, haunted hayride, lots of jump scares, a whole package deal for Halloween thrills. Then there's Fright Kingdom in Nashua. That's often hailed as New England's scariest indoor haunted attraction. They have multiple themed areas like Bloodmere Manor, Apocalypse Z. They really go all out with elaborate sets and dedicated actors.
And for something really spectacular, I know Haunted Overload in Lee is a huge fan favorite. It always gets rave reviews.
Oh, absolutely. Haunted Overload, held at Demerit Hill Farm. It's a Halloween institution up there. It features this incredible outdoor haunted trail. The signature thing is these towering handmade monsters, just massive artistic creations, plus dramatic lighting, tons of fog, and it's all woven into this story-driven experience, often inspired by local folklore. It's consistently rated as one of the top haunted attractions in the entire U.S. A real masterclass in structured scares, focusing on craftsmanship and atmosphere, not just cheap jump scares. So what does this all mean? We've journeyed all across New Hampshire, haven't we? explore this incredible diversity in its haunted landscape. From those tragic hotel guests and protective spirits in old homes, to ancient curses clinging to mountains and these elusive cryptids in the woods, these stories are deeply interwoven with the state's rich history, its beautiful natural scenery. They're more than just, local lore, they're cultural touchstones. They reveal how communities process tragedy, how they remember the past, and how they confront the inexplicable.
Yeah. Whether you believe in ghosts or cryptids or any unexplained phenomena or not, these stories, they really invite us to consider the echoes of the past, don't they? And the enduring power of human experience. What does it truly mean for a place to be haunted? Is it like the lingering spirit of one person? Is it the collective memory of a whole community? The residual energy from big events? Or maybe it's something entirely different that we're only just beginning to understand. We really encourage you to reflect on your own aha moments from this deep dive, and perhaps, if you dare, visit some of these locations. Maybe with a newfound appreciation for the chilling tales they hold, you might just find yourself looking a little closer into the shadows next time and wondering what other stories are still out there waiting to be told.